Okay, welcome everyone to today's class. My name is Rhonda Hoffman. I'm the genealogy specialist with the Buffalo and Erie County Public Library. I'm happy to speak with you today about finding Western New York naturalization records in FamilySearch. Just gonna stop my own video there for a second. Okay. So just a little background information on naturalization records. From 1790 through 1906, aliens could become naturalized at local, state, or federal courts. After September 1906, only federal courts and state courts with unlimited civil jurisdiction could naturalize. In New York State, that would be the Supreme Court. From 1855 to 1922, alien married women and minor children, that means under 21 years old, became naturalized through the male head of family. From 1923 to the present, alien minor children became naturalized through the parents, and women had to naturalize themselves. From 1907, March 2nd, 1907 to September 22nd, 1922, a woman who was an American citizen lost her citizenship if she married an alien. She could naturalize if her husband was eligible to naturalize. After September 22nd, 1922, a woman would not lose her citizenship if she married an alien, as long as her alien husband was eligible to naturalize. And if a woman married an Asian man, they were not allowed to naturalize. So those individuals, those women would lose their citizenship. And then the requirement regarding the husband's eligibility was removed after March 3rd, 1931. So you may actually find some women in naturalization records that you didn't think would be there. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with FamilySearch. The best way that I find to start out, there are various courts, like I mentioned, that you could naturalize through. And I usually start out by going to search and then records. Under Find a Collection, there are a few different record sets related to New York naturalizations. So I usually just start typing New York naturalizations, and you'll see a number of databases listed. And the main focus today is Western New York, but a lot of this can pertain to other areas in New York State as well. And one of those record sets is the one that we're going to talk about first, New York County naturalization records from 1791 to 1980. So I always say, whenever you're looking at a different record set, whenever you're going to search in a record set, I always like to see that what I'm looking for is actually in the record set. And you can do that with this set right here. Browse all of the over 3 million images. You can see what counties are included. Let me just sign in here. If there are some of you who don't use FamilySearch already, you will need to make a free account in order to use the databases. So here you can see all the different counties that are included in this record set. And a lot of the Western New York counties are included: Allegheny, Cattaraugus, Chautauqua, Genesee, Niagara, also Wyoming and Orleans. The one that's not included is Erie County. If you select a particular county, you can then see what's available for each county. So some of the common things you'll see in these records are declarations of intention, which that was the first step in the naturalization process after you were in the country for a certain period of time, and that may have varied over the years. You would file a declaration of intent and that's a declaration of intent to become a U.S. citizen. And then after waiting 2 to 5 years, and it just depended on the laws of the time, then you would file a petition for naturalization. So you can see there's a number of petitions here. Some other things that you might see how some of them say petition evidence. Oftentimes the petition evidence is there will be witnesses who are going to, vouch for the person becoming naturalized, who are going to say, yes, this person I've known them for a while, and, they're good people. So you'll see statements from the witnesses. Sometimes it will list the witnesses' profession and address or town of residence. So you might learn a little bit about the witnesses there. Another thing that you might see, sometimes there are things called special naturalizations where minors, people who came to the US when they were minors, they could skip the declaration of intent sometimes. And those naturalizations are then sometimes separated out in their own record set. So I'm going to go back where we could keyword search the records. And I recommend, you can just start with somebody's name. I'm going to go ahead and input some names here. You can open up more options if you want to try that. Sometimes if it's a more common name, you can put in you might want to put in a county. And there you can see your hits. I'm going to go ahead and choose the 1890 naturalization. There's a couple options for viewing the record. You can go right to the record by clicking on the camera. I like to do it that way. It just eliminates some steps. This might be a little confusing because we see something from Pennsylvania and we're talking about Western New York. This is information about the declaration of intent. So you could file a declaration of intent in a different court than your petition for citizenship. So you might find those out of state or out of area declaration of intents. If you go back, and click on the other record, if you click on the person's name, there's kind of a different view. It gives you a little kind of summary, and there's this different view. And sometimes I find navigating the image this way is a little bit faster. So I guess that's one plus side, but you will have, more things to click on. If you wanted to download this record, you could click this download button right here. So to get back to your results list, you just have to make some more clicks. It's the never ending loop. Is it gonna let me out? Yeah, there we go. So if you did open that one up with the camera, there it is. And you can download from here as well. And it would put it in your download folders generally, unless you set something up different on your computer. And you can also use the tools here if you wanted to adjust the image and make it, change the contrast or brightness, you can do that. You would hit apply if you wanted to do that. Once you're in our record set, you can, change your data that you input, and you can put in more information here in this box. Let me just move something out of my way here. So if you wanted to search for someone new, you could just click reset right there, and it'll take your data out. So I'm going to search for John Sally. And I'm going to put in Orleans. For Orleans County, New York. I'm going to click search. And I don't get any results. So I wanted to show you that because you kind of have to be careful when you put in place names. Sometimes it'll pick up a keyword, but then sometimes it likes you to select from its choices. So if I put in, start typing Orleans, New York, and then select that entry from their list of places, it sometimes likes that better. So I'll usually do that instead of just keyword searching from a place. So now you can see that there are some choices for this particular individual. Another way that you can search for names is you can use different truncation and what do you call it? Wildcard searches. And that's what I had to do for one of my relatives. So my ancestor, Stephen Hoffman, he first lived in Cattaraugus County. And this one is his. And this, you can see it's going to bring up an index card. And this will tell you the particular court that he naturalized with, so county court, and it gives you the volume and page number. So volume 5, page 116, gives you the date. I'm going to go back. And I looked through the rest of the hits that I got, and that's the only one that pertained to him. So I was only finding just that index card. And if I go back and I look at what is in that record set, you can see that there are different volumes for naturalization, but there's no volume 5. So for some reason, mine is the one for him is not in here. So that's one thing to check, go back and check. If you're not finding something, go back and check and see if that item is in there or not. And this person went by two different names. So one of the names he went by was Polson. So I thought, well, maybe he's under that name. And I got some hits that are kind of similar, but none of them were him. So this is where you can try the different truncation. So if you put in an asterisk, you have to put in 3 characters. You can put in an asterisk, and it'll bring up anything with the starting word POL, and then the asterisk. And I got some, but again, I looked through them. They weren't my person. Another thing that you can do is do wildcards. So if you put in a question mark, it will take the place of one character. And again, I didn't get any hits. And you can keep playing with those. I often like to use a couple different asterisks. So what this is doing when I do it this way is it's any number of letters could be between the P and L and the L and N. And so then I saw this one right here, Stefan Polstein. I open it up. So here it is. It's not very, doesn't have a lot of information in it, but you can see that he's actually listed a couple different ways. Stephen Polstein, and then he's in Salamanca, and that is where he lived. And then it's got his signature down here, which is more like how I know how he spelled the name, Polcin. So you can see that you might find errors in the way that the clerks wrote the information. So if you don't find someone when you're searching, like I said, you do want to go back and look and see what other records might be here. And a lot of times you will see that there are indexes within these records. So if you see right here, there's a naturalization index from 1847 to 1939, and you could click that and you could browse that particular index. Or a lot of times the individual books might have their own index. So if I look at this petitions for naturalization, for example, if I open it up, in the front of the book is this tiny book that indexes the names. So these page numbers would be for this particular book, whereas that other index that I pointed out it includes that wide time frame. Usually the things that are indexed in these, this is one of the card files like we saw for my ancestor. And usually these are only indexing the petitions, not the declarations of intent. So sometimes, even though this database has tons of records in it, sometimes there are things, even for the counties that you see listed here, sometimes there are additional items in FamilySearch pertaining to these particular counties, or there might be some for the counties that we don't find listed here. And a good way to find them is by using the catalog. So you just go to the catalog and do a place search. And I'm going to do Chautauqua County. I'm going to choose online records. And there's the naturalization category. If I first click this top one, these are the records that are in that database that we just searched. And you can see it'll have this red text here, and you could click there and it would go to that record set. Now you do have to be careful. If you see here, here's the different papers. You can see that the magnifying glass means you can search it. If you click one of these individual ones, you're just searching this section. So you're only searching this first item if you click the magnifying glass here. So if you're looking to search the entire record set, you have to go to this top way right here. If I go back to the list that we had for Chautauqua County, there's another record set from 1837 to 1972. And this one, you can see there's no red text, there's no magnifying glasses. So these are things that are not in that database. And look at all this stuff that's there. Declarations, final papers, petitions from the various locations. There's some for Jamestown, Mayville, Fredonia. So if you want to view these, obviously you'd want to start with the index, and you just click on the camera and you can navigate from there. For those of you who are Erie County people, Erie County has some naturalization records this way. So there's two different entries. I'm going to click on the second one. The second one where it says index 1831 to 1930. I like to use the index that's there. So there's a card index that was filmed from the Erie County Clerk's office. And you can see the different alphabetic ranges. So you can browse that index if you want to. And I'm just going to click on the first card. So there we have George Ebb, and we've got the book 10, page 314. We've got, it says Superior Court, and it tells the date of his naturalization. These are the witness names, and it says he's from the Baden region of Germany. So if I wanted to see if any of those papers, sometimes we will find those papers online. So it was book 10, page 314, and it was 1858. Actually, before I show you that, let me show you that a lot of times there'll be different courts. The county clerk will hold naturalization records from different courts. So you can see there's the county court, the court of common pleas, and the superior court. And so all of those courts are indexed in these records. So if we there's a lot of index cards, but after that, we're going to start seeing some of those final papers, which those are the petitions to become a citizen. Sometimes they're called final papers. We were looking for book 10 in 1858. So see how this has volume 10, but it doesn't say 1858. And remember, there's those 3 different courts here. So that's not the one that we're looking for. So we just want to go ahead. And then if we look down the list, here it looks like you can see there's a second set of records started, but there's no volume 10. And then here's some more papers started, and you can see volume 8 through 10, 1856 through 58. So that's what we're looking for. And you just click the camera. And you can, keep going ahead to find him with the page number that was given. I'm going to go ahead and just type in image 703 because I know that's where his is located. But you could browse through to the page number that was given, which was 314. That was given in the index. So there he is, George Abb. And you can see where they got the Baden information. So he is just saying, I denounce, the Duke of Baden, and I want to become a US citizen. Doesn't have a lot of details in it, but it does say where he got filed his declaration of intent. So it was from December of 1852 in Monroe County. And then if you wanted to, these are actually online. So you could go back and find that declaration of intent from Monroe County if you wanted to. And you would do that the same way that we've looked through those other records. So you would just go to Monroe. And we're looking for declarations of intent. It was from 1852. And if we just open up that first index, and these are listed in order by date, and it was December 27th, 1852. And so there he is, George Abb. It doesn't give anything more than that date. It doesn't give a page number or anything like that. So it's what it is these are just loose papers in order by date. So we would just look for 1852, December of 1852, which is in this item right here. And I'm just going to jump ahead. And there is his declaration of intention. You always want to look for both items. His petition didn't have a lot of information, but this declaration of intent does have a little extra information in it. It does say that he was born in Baden, but it does give his birth date about the 12th day of April, 1808. And it says when he arrived in the United States on the 26th of August in 1849. So you do have some great information there. So another record set that has Western New York naturalizations, we can find again by going to records. And going to this search box again, find a collection. And it's the Western District naturalizations. And you could keyword search this. And we got a hit. If I go to click the image, though, it takes me to fold 3. So FamilySearch has partnerships with different other sources. So fold 3 is a paid subscription. If you have that, then you could look that up in fold 3 and you would get the image. But for this record set, another way to get the image is by going to the National Archives webpage. So here we've got his name, we've got the year of naturalization, but if we want to find the actual petitions for citizenship, some of these are actually online, but we need to see the card. And again, you could get that in fold 3 if you subscribe, but you can also get it for free from the National Archives. So the National Archives has lots of partnerships with different websites, including FamilySearch, Ancestry, Fold 3, and some other places. And you can see a list. This website is on your handout. And there's tons of partnerships. If we scroll down to the bottom, look at there's 210 pages that list the different partnerships that they have. And I like to just kind of go here to this search box. And so if I start typing New York naturalizations, comes up with multiple things, not all Western New York, but some other courts as well. If we put in Western, then that will narrow things down. And so there's 3 different items listed, and one is that alphabetical index to the petitions. And I want just to bring your attention to, it'll tell the status of the project. So the index is complete. There's this other project that they're supposed to do with some records. It says not started. And then there's the petitions, which I'm going to show you in a minute, which are partially complete. So if you wanted to, from here, you could click on FamilySearch. It would take you to that database that I showed you. You could click fold 3. It would take you there. The Ancestry link will bring you to an institutional membership through NARA. So it's not helpful to click on Ancestry. But if you want to find this record set in the NARA catalog, you can click on the title. And you can keyword search within this box. First, I want to show you the full description of this record set. So that index said it was from 1906 to 1966. But if you look here, it says indexes to naturalization records from 1900 to 1991 for this Western District Court. So that's what's actually in this record set, even though it says in FamilySearch 1906 to 1966 says the same thing in fold 3, says the same thing in Ancestry. It actually has some from 1900 to 1991 in it. I'm going to go back. So if we click search within this series, it'll take you back here and you can search for that same gentleman. And here's the hit. So now we can see the full card, and this is what we need to find the information. What we want is the petition information. So this is the declaration of intent number. That's when they filed the declaration of intent. Here's the petition number, the date that they became a citizen. And this could mean different things, this 96 and 222. So 96, it could be a volume, it could be a box number, it could be a folder number, and then it would be like an item number. So the 222nd petition in whatever this is, whether it's a book or box or folder. And that's what we need. And so if we go back, apologies, if we go back to the list from the National Archives, some of the actual petitions are on the NARA website. If you click there, they're in there. up to 1916, but it's much more complete in FamilySearch. So if we click here, then here are those records. And there's tons of them in here. You can see 1903, they go into 1938. So his was in 1930. And so he was petition 14382. And we can just kind of keep scrolling down to see what numbers we're at. So see this number right here, 6501 to 6600. Ours was in March of 1930, so you can even see the dates here. Here's some volume numbers, and you just want to match up all those numbers that we had. So I need to go farther for petition 14382. And did that go? And we still need to go forward. Getting close. So here we go, 14301 to 14350. And here's 14351 to 14400, and we were 14382. You can see it's March and it's 1930, and we had the number 96, so it's box number 96, and all of that matches up. So if you just click on the camera, I'm going to start with the first image. This can be a little confusing to navigate because when you're navigating these, you're looking for the number for the petition for citizenship, but it'll have the declarations in there too, and they have different numbers. So you're not looking for the number on the Declaration of Intent. You're looking for this petition for naturalization, and they'll have them grouped together for a particular individual. So here's Elsie Mary Place. And if we forward through the record, it'll usually have a certificate of arrival that'll include what port they came in and the boat name and the date. And then usually the next item would be that petition for citizenship. So this is the petition number 14351. And then on that card, it said 96-222. So this other stamped number is what that like 222 would be for the person that we're looking for. So it's kind of like this is the 191st item in that particular box, 96. So I'm going to just jump ahead. And so here we've got Emilio's declaration of intention, and this is of a time frame that they're extremely rich with detail on them. So we see a physical description. He's a laborer. He's 5 feet 5.5, dark brown eyes. No, sorry, dark brown hair, gray eyes. He's got a scar on the left side of his upper lip. It tells the town he was born in Italy, the ship he came in on. And then it's got the certificate of arrival, gives the port and the date and the ship again. And there's the very detailed petition for citizenship. And this lists his family member names. So we have his wife. We have his children listed here. And it tells where they were born. And it says that they're all still living in Italy. Sometimes you'll see the spouse listed here as well. For this time frame, women would have naturalized themselves, and that's why his wife isn't listed on here. It gives a more specific occupation to concrete finisher. So that's the U.S. District Court naturalizations for New York State. And so it's the Western District Court. And that court started in 1900. It broke off from the Northern U.S. District Court. And there is actually an index to the Northern District Court. So if you're looking for something earlier, what you could do is go into the catalog and go to, I like to go to titles. And this is on your handout. There's a direct link to this on your handout, or you can search for the database title, which I know is Northern District Petitions for Naturalization. So I'm just keyword searching for that title, but you could look at that handout and go and click on the link and go directly. So this is the court that the Western District Court broke off of in 1900, in May of 1900. So you could find someone from Western New York in this data set as well. And there is an index, so you can browse that. So you've got the individual's name and the date. This covers it, the time frame listed here is a little misleading. So it says 1821 to 1906, but it's really 1821 to 1855 with only one item past that date for 1906. So it's a little misleading. You're really looking for earlier stuff here. And the thing with this one, it's kind of unique. You actually don't even really need to look at the index for this one because each individual has its own separate listing here. So you can actually just look through the names here. And there are, I did find, I didn't look at every single one in this set, but I did click on someone that was from the Buffalo area. It's this Philip George Lawrence. And so you can see a few different papers for him. It's not very detailed, but it does include his papers here. So there's, you know, another one that you could search in. Another place that you might find naturalization records is in county miscellaneous record books. So if you go to the catalog, you want to do a place search for the county of interest. So I'm going to do Wyoming County. I'm going to click online. I like to choose keywords and put miscellaneous in there. And oftentimes miscellaneous falls under multiple categories. If I just go to court records, this is what I'm looking for here. These aren't keywords searchable, but there are the indexes online. So let's say I wanted to go to the S through Z range. If you click on the camera, and then you always want to look in the front of the book to see if there's a key. This tells you what page number to look on for specific alphabetic ranges. So if I wanted to look for a name Schnapp, you would look for the first letter. So you can see STU. I want S, C, and then over to the right, H. And so here's one right here. This top one is just for Schmidt. And this is page 2208. So you could see where you are in this set. And so we're at 2177. I'm going to just jump ahead. I know it's on image 24. So we can see 2208, and this is the person I'm looking for, Jacob Schnapp. and it tells us volume 1, page 111. You can see there's all different kinds of records in these miscellaneous record books, but you can see record of naturalization for these top few people. There's some more down here. So if I go back, and I was looking for volume 1. So there's 2 volumes in this book. And I was looking for page 111. I'm just going to go ahead and jump ahead to image 66. And his is the bottom one down here. So there he is, Jacob Schnapp of Sheldon in Wyoming County. So that's another place to look. I have a couple of bonus items that I'd like to show you briefly. So these are not FamilySearch. These are ones in Ancestry and ones just on the internet. So in Ancestry, there's this record set that has some Western New York naturalizations in it. And there's a link in your handout, but you can find it also by going to the search menu and going to the card catalog. And the database title is called New York U.S. Naturalization Papers of Central and Western New York State. So I'm going to just start typing. Naturalization, Western New York. And I get these 1799 to 1847 is the time frame. There aren't a super lot for, you know, what I consider Western New York, which is Allegheny, Chautauqua, Cattaraugus, Erie, Genesee, Niagara, Orleans, and Wyoming. But there are some for other areas. It's the Court of Chancery. These records were held by the New York State Archives and partnered with Ancestry. In this 8th Circuit is where you might find some Western New York naturalizations. It's mainly Monroe County. So if you've got Monroe County people, this 8th Circuit Court is where you'll find a lot of Monroe County. And of course, there's other courts here. So there's other places across, you know, especially central New York, you're going to find in here. But I did find a few. I didn't look through everything, but I did find a few for Niagara County in here. You can just search with a name. It's pretty straightforward. And for some reason, that one opens on the 2nd page, but this is a gentleman. He filed in the Court of Common Pleas in Niagara County, and he was from Lockport, I believe. And then the other bonus item, you want to look to the county clerk's offices. So for Western New York, Erie County was the one that I found has some naturalizations in their database. So a lot of the clerks, they do electronic filing for, you know, current documents, and they have some historical either indexes or indexes and images in it. And Erie County clerks, out of those 8 counties of Western New York, does have an index to naturalizations in here. I can't guarantee it may not be the full index of everything, but it is a place to try. And what you do is you go to a public record search, and then there's a few different options here. For these first 2, you have to download something to your computer, so I always just bypass that. This other one is a registered users search, so you can pay for an account. I think you have to put $250 down, and then you can get access to some images. But the way that you would want to go is the browser view search. And this does index some naturalizations. So you can see the different record types here. And you can see there's naturalizations. And there's different kinds, there's the petitions, the declaration of intents. It looks like maybe there might be a couple different courts there. I'm not quite sure. But if you click naturalizations, then it's only searching naturalizations. So I'm just searching for the last name Smith to just kind of give you an idea of what's in there. And there are lots of hits. You can sort you can sort by date if you click that column. So look, there's all these entries for the 1830s, and if I keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, there are even some more recent in there. You can try to click on one. You can see how it gives, sometimes it gives the book and page number right here. And you can try to click on this. But for the earlier ones, it always says this document has no images. And if you do, I won't go back into it, but if you do the later ones, it always says the images are restricted. So I don't know if you go to Erie County Clerk's office, they can print a copy of a naturalization off for you from their computers. I don't know if you can get to it if you paid that subscription price or not. I'm not sure if those are publicly accessible. But so you want to look at the county clerk's websites too. And that's everything that I have for you today.